At lunch, David looked me right in the eye and was speaking from his heart in the most inspired way right to me. And he said something that was incredibly profound. And I don't know if I'll get the exact words, David, but you said, I think, Joe, it's not important that you be loved. It's important that you love. Is that right? Thank you.
I'm just passing it.
I know you were. I know you were. That was coming from inspiration. Direct through, you were a divine puppet, and I mean that in the most respectful, wonderful, loving way. Has anybody enjoyed this so far today? I have a gift for everybody here. It is an out-of-print, collectible little book called How to Thrive on Rejection. And on the cover it says, "Is there sex after death?" It is a very stimulating, would you mind? Yeah, thanks. Somebody can help you pass this around. How to Thrive on Rejection, a manual for survival. Is there sex after death? It's a wonderful little book full of all these insights and how to handle rejection and things like that. And this book was written by an 80-year-old publicist who I've yet to meet, but I've worked with. He's going to be speaking at Pat O'Brien's seminar in February, where I will be speaking too. And Alan sent enough for everybody, and Alan Abel signed them all. And I think that I wanted to give you this gift, and he's also giving you this gift, but I also wanted to ask the question, who rejects us? There's nothing out there, she says. There's nothing out there. I think that's the reoccurring message today, is that everything that shows up is only showing up so we can clean it. Does anybody not get that? Does anybody have a question about that? Even about the nuances of that. I've talked about this whole concept of zero limits. I've talked about excerpts from the book. I've talked about changing the world from the inside out, because the only thing that really matters is your inside. And I've talked about these 4 phrases. And I've had people question the word love. We've talked about that. I've had people question, why say I'm sorry? What am I sorry about? Why should I say, please forgive me? What did I do wrong? Anybody feel like that? Nobody dare admit that. I'm going to address it anyway, because it seems like it would be on somebody's mind, either here in the room or on the audio tape or on the videotape later. My understanding is when I say I'm sorry, I'm saying it to myself to reconnect myself with the divine. Because along the way, I missed the mark, I missed my connection, I began to come from my ego, I began to come from conscious control, whatever you want to say, and I realized that, oh, I screwed up. I'm sorry. Now, the divine is already sending me love. I'm not saying it for the divine to go and be like a good father or a good mother and say, yeah, okay, you're now okay. We will now love you. The divine was already loving me. I'm saying I'm sorry because I forgot it was already loving me. I'm sorry. I forgot that you love me. I forgot that love was coming in. Please forgive me is really a petition for me to keep the doors open for the love to come in. Then I'm back to I love you, which is reconnecting me to love itself, and I'm back to thank you, which is this total state of gratitude, which to the best of my ability is where I'm trying to be in every moment, including this one. I am incredibly grateful to be in front of all of you, to be able to have the man I heard about as a myth 3 years ago, this fable, a therapist who heals the mentally ill and he doesn't even see them. Thanks, Mark, what a joke. And then to meet the man, and then to do workshops with the man, to have him at my house, to do this dinner a year or so ago, to write a book that's going to cause the shit to hit the fan. So I keep hearing. And the movie that's coming out. I stand up here just electrified with the potential that's coming through, and I mean it's coming through right now, and with the gratitude of this very moment. All of you, people that I love, people that I know most of you from one place or another, people who have come from the other side of the planet to be here. This is amazing, truly amazing. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me, and thank you. Let's bring Dr. Len back up.
Maybe you have any questions or comments, because we're going to pull it. I just want to tighten it up before we all go home. Any loose ends that I created, any uncertainty, any unclarity. So I'm going to use this time just to throw it up to see if you have any questions about anything that we covered today. Tomorrow I'm going to ask someone who is IRS, worked with the IRS on auditing taxes. I'm going to ask her to spend some time talking to you how she deals with her practice of dealing with the federal government. Yeah. But in the meantime, you might have some questions. Otherwise, I'll go on to another cleaning process. I'll go on to another cleaning process. This is a corn cob. This is corn. So as I was doing my cleaning and watching what came up, the corn came up. And you know the corn comes from a very ancient grass. Ancient, go way, way, way back. So the corn is a family of that. So the Indians, one of the things the Indians got was the corn represent this reaching up for the divine. So as I watched this corn in my mind, I saw it reach through. Can you pass that around? I'm looking for the blue pen. Did I leave it around?
Yeah.
I'm afraid I'm going to mark it up worse than I did before. Okay.
There is a red, there's one over there by the water.
Okay. So the Indians this particular Indian tribes were moved. Something moved them, and the symbol of the corn moved them. How it was moved, I don't know that. We'd have to meditate on that. So what came up in this mind is this circle, complete circle, representing completion, and then this another completion. So if you look at the teepee, you will find the original teepee has 10 actual panels. I don't know what they look like now. So what do you suppose the panels represent? In your mind, just sort of clean and see what comes up. What do you suppose the panels represent?
Roots.
I'm sorry?
Roots.
Okay. Anybody?
Stages of life.
Okay. Yeah. So one of the things it represents is the mountains. And this right here, this opening represents this zero, so that they're able to stand on this mat called zero and look at the cosmos. And coming through this represented, the panel represents light, sunlight coming down. So now, however it worked, I don't know how it worked, but what they saw coming out was this corn going reaching way up into nothingness. And this is what this corn represents. Can you show it? Can you let me? David, thank you. So now, what this corn represents, and I'm going to pass around some product, is that the corn has silk on it. So what the silk will do is it'll reach into the subconscious of your being and begin to look at the memories inside of you. And so as you use these products, and I'm going to call it maize, not corn, I'm going to call it maize. So this gives you this ability of being complete, whole, and it gives you this ability to reach up into the cosmos by simply eating and using these things. So this morning I came down looking for something to eat, and I heard, there's the cornflakes, and so I looked at the cornflakes. My intellect was saying whether there was garbage in there. I'm going, and I heard, hello, just eat the stuff. And I said, okay. So anything that's corn is a cleaning process. Now you could do this corn in two ways. You could just simply say corn, so you say it, maize rather. In your mind you say maize, and so it's a deletion process. It'll give you, this is you, it'll give you the ability to reach up into the cosmos and literally hold the hands of the divine. This is what the corn is doing. It's reaching for the sun, up and up and up. You don't see it here, but what happens, remember I drew the 3 cells around it, so it's reaching up into the cosmos, but it's all zeros, yeah? So 0, 0. So the idea is all you have to do is say or think maize, and it will begin the process of deleting memories, releasing earthbound spirits, working on closing down different dimensions. So I've asked Suzanne, so she was kind enough, can you give us the bags of chips and we can pass it around?
The blue or
The blue and the round, yeah. So we're going to pass it around. If you're wanting to eat any of it, please be our guest. So this idea of by eating it, by saying it, by thinking it, it gives you this ability to reach up and touch the sky. So I'm just going to pass this around by looking at it. This is a cleansing process in and of itself. So we want to thank Joe Patelli for buying this stuff. Huh? He's saying to you, I love you as you eat it. All you need is a molecule, but I don't know how many of you can only eat a molecule.
Watch this.
All you need is a molecule.
There's one that's already broken.
We'll take some chips and pass them back. One side is all good. On one side or the other. I wish there was on this one. They just was started. I just opened it up.
Can you imagine being able to clean up stuff by just eating the corn? If you eat it, it begins to look for memories, answers, or it just cleans it up. By just eating the stuff.
It's amazing how much.
Just eating it. That's all it takes. You don't have to be smart. You don't have to think about anything. Just eat the stuff. You know?
So our natives who are very much part of their daily.
Oh yeah, you're
They understood.
yeah.
They understood.
Yeah. Now what happens is they understood because their grandparents understood. You don't know whether they have the meaning, but who cares, right? They eat
Did
it.
it, but they did it.
So I want to ask if you have any questions about the use of any maize product. It could be yellow corn or blue corn. Any questions about that? Now can you imagine all you have to do is put one in your mouth and it begins the cleaning?
All of that.
All of that.
I've been clean for years.
One, can you cook with it?
Yes. Yep, you can do anything with it. It's like this water. All you have to do is drink it. How come? Why? You don't drink it? How come? Well, I don't know about this stuff. Just drink it. Creates cosmic changes. And you'll see it. This group will see it. As long as you're willing to give up how come, why, Oh, really? That sort of stuff. Yeah. So, I tell you how I use it. So every day when I drink my water, I always take a little bit of corn, blue cornmeal, and I just go boom into the water. And when I drink it, I get the cleaning of the water and the corn. So sometimes I'm going to work on something and I hear, just dust your hand with corn. So as I dust my hand with corn, I can see bloodshed come off my hand. So it's like, it's about renewing this connection and letting go of all the past garbage. And all you have to do is eat it, drink the stuff, think it. David, do you have a question? Do you look like I can see something bubbling off of your top of your head?
90%.
You have a question?
Silk on the corn. What did you say about that? Silk.
The silk on the corn are like computer wires. They go into the subconscious and begin to see the memories. And then again, they pull it out just to correct memories and clean it up. That's what the silk will do. It's so beautiful. I went to school in Iowa, so Iowa is nothing but corn. But now I have a better appreciation for it.
I picked enough of it as a boy. I wish I'd have known that then.
Yeah, but that's what it is. It's like the silk allows you to get into the subconscious and begin to work it. It's beautiful. So any form of the corn, but you can eat it fresh, you can eat it dried, you can eat it. So I want to see if you have any questions about deleting. Now, as you eat it, you don't know what's going to get deleted. But just eating it is sufficient. Yeah. Any questions about the corn?
Yeah. Aren't you worried about the salt, the calories, the nitrate?
Only if you say so. Only if you say so. So that's wonderful you should bring it up, because I'm hoping they're clean with that. Because they had the same thought over here. Over there, way in the corner. So remember now, all you need is a molecule of it. So when I go around, when I travel, I always take one little bottle of corn dust, and that's what I put in my food and before I eat it. Because I want this silk to etherically search in my soul for anything that will react to the food. I want the silk in this corn to search in my soul for anything, if I travel, that will cause me to react. I want to pay down my debt. And this is what this corn will do. It'll pay down DEATH. Even prevent you being in an airplane and the airplane going down. So any questions about the corn? Now that you're chewing on it, you're more interested in chewing on it. Any questions about the solar water? Any questions about the breathing? Any questions about who's responsible? I'm sorry?
For the back corner.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned on paying down the debt.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on becoming debt-free?
Yeah, well, that's what you were born. You were created debt-free. That's what zero means. It means you're debt-free. And then you accumulated junk. So now when you eat this corn or you do your breathing, you're paying down your debt. You're allowing divinity to erase it, so now you're debt-free. And all you're doing is munching on this stuff. All you do is drinking it. You don't have to know anything. Just drink, munch, and the divinity will do the rest. But it's paying down debt. And I mean really debt. I'm talking about two types. Death, this is an X, this is a memory, and debt. This is why the word mortuary and mortgage are one and the same. You're paying that down and clearing your mind of this stuff so that you can be death and debt free. This is the only thing this cleaning will do. That's the only thing it's up to. So now, when you get to that point where you're debt-free, you get inspiration. Now you are reborn. You have been reestablished. Divinity is infusing you with this breath of life, for which now you get to expand your consciousness, and you'll see things you've never seen before. And then more doo-doo will come up. And then you get to eat more cornmeal, more whatever, or drink your water, and you take that debt down, you restore your identity, and then up comes the breath. I wish it could be more difficult, you know? I might be able to make more money, I don't know. Yeah. So I want to see if you have any questions about how difficult this is. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I have a question about the concept that's very popular right now in terms of law of attraction, that if you say debt-free, you're attracting debt. Or if you say I'm sorry, you're attracting that you're a sorry person.
So can you tell us what you said?
Can I tell you what I said?
Because remember now, it's the story is simple. You're either you only have three states of being, and you just double up on something. So here's the zero, here's God, and here's doo-doo. So tell me what you said. Which one of these is doo-doo? Yeah, so now you're bringing it up, which is great. We're munching on, David is munching on his corn, so he gets to dump that. So now you're only going to hang on with yourself and God. That's all we want to do. Give up trying to figure out anything. You won't be able to do it. Knowledge cannot encapsulate God and zero. Not possible. So I want to thank you for that, because all of a sudden I saw an eagle leave. Stuff got clean and an eagle flew up. What does the eagle represent in poetry? Not politics, but in poetry.
Freedom.
Yes. Who said that? Yes, freedom. That's the kind of signs I look for. Ooh, that's freedom. Okay. But here's freedom. And out of this freedom, you get this love, this inspiration, expands your consciousness. And the more you clean, the more this comes in. And the bigger this stuff gets, the bigger. And because it gets bigger, you get clearer. And one of these days you go, wow, my God, it was always there. But you were too busy trying to figure it out. Too bad for us. Because we're trying to figure out who God is by our knowledge. And we cannot encapsulate divinity with this stuff. Not possible. Any other questions about any of the tools? Yes?
On the jet lag, do you do the cycles consistently during a 3-hour flight? Do you do it 3 times in a row, or do you do it each hour?
I would do it somewhere on each hour. I would begin it if I knew I was going to fly, like I'm going to be leaving on Monday. I'm already doing my breathing. Yeah. So what does that mean? Well, will that mean I get home without any? Oh no. It means if doo-doo comes up, I go, oh, okay, I get to breathe again, as opposed to, oh no, I did my breathing. How come? Yeah. Come on, God, give me a break. I did my breathing. And the universe is just laughing. So like Joe was saying, when something comes up, it's an opportunity. You get to breathe again. You get to eat a little more cornmeal. You get to think, really, it's an opportunity. As opposed to, she puts her hand up, she pushes and I push. It's called resistance. Resist not. Let go. No, so it falls into nothingness. That's what we're up. So we're only up against our stuff. We're resisting our stuff. And so eating the corn, doing all this is about letting go. So when it comes up, you go, oops, I get to let that go, oops. And you get better and better, and you do it more and more often. And then as you do it, then there's a part of you, tomorrow I'm going to go over this, tell you how you can have that subconscious help you with the cleaning. I see bubbling now, so anybody want to bubble up so you can ask the question? How about on this side? Bubble, bubble, bubble. There you go.
I don't know if this is a question, but I work a lot with Hispanics.
Yes,
And that
yes.
lived and grew up in Mexico.
Yes.
And I have been so touched by how sweet they are and how much they love their families.
Yeah.
And when they have a family reunion, it's 100 people
Yeah,
and or more.
yeah,
And they grew up, most of us who work in the ranch, grew up they didn't go to school, they
Yep.
just lived with their families in
Yep.
ranches in Mexico. And they ate corn.
yeah,
Now, that's a jump for me, but it's like I'm wondering,
yeah,
well, granted, it was more than just corn, but
Yep.
they really lived on corn.
yep. Yeah, and sometimes you have a tradition, you don't even know why you do it, but you do it, but it's so powerful,
Yeah,
so powerful.
but they've been inspiration.
You have to realize that these folks, today's Hispanics, have a long history that go back to the Aztecs, to the Incas. You talk about a knowingness, yeah. But somewhere along the line, something came and stopped that. It cut that light off. And so by your really doing it, you're actually reestablishing that. Because in the eye of the divinity, there's no Hispanics. No black, no Hawaiians like me, only zero. So by your willingness to do it, be 100% responsible, you're going to help every family move. I mean, you cannot believe the tumultuous movement once everybody is willing to be 100% responsible. Incredible. Yes.
What was the name of the Indian tribe that reached the apex?
I'm not sure about that. As you're talking, I'm hearing somewhere around Wisconsin. It just came up, but I'm not sure. I don't know of that kind, but I know when I meditated years ago, that's what the eye was saying, divinity was saying, that one of the Indian tribes hit the apex. And so one of the things that they could do is a long time ago, there used to be this tremendous redwood forest across our country. So one of the things that they would do to connect is in their mind, they would mentally walk into a redwood tree and up they would go. That's how they would make the connection. Yeah. We do it the hard way. We plod and, how come, why, and, well, wow. I mean, why do I have to?
And the kahunas, did they not have that ability?
The kahunas had that ability. Particularly the kahunas, not so much the kahunas today, David, but the kahunas that came from Lemuria. Now, the problem with the kahunas that came from Lemuria is what happens to most humans, and that it goes to their head. You know what I'm talking about? What am I talking about? Can you tell me what an eagle? You know, I'm a psychologist by training. I've never seen an eagle before. Yeah. So what happens is this memory kicked in saying, "I'm God." But it was always there. So you're always having to watch to make sure you're cleaning, because that's going to come up and say, "I'm the person who did it." Boy, that thing will go, whoa! It'll take you down like nobody's business. So I really want, when I talk to people, I want people to be clear, I don't do anything. I'm just asking the Z up here, I'm having a problem, something's come up, I'm saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me, you're doing all the cleaning, and then let the divinity do, because I don't know what's going on. But incredible what they could do, David. They could in fact transport with their mind anywhere in the cosmos, anywhere. Yeah, it was dangerous. What happened is they gave it to a few people who misused it, and the whole thing collapsed. That's why Hawaii has a huge rift and everything just collapsed. And that's what will happen to us if we get too big for our pants. It'll collapse. Our pants will fall. Anybody else? Yes. Wow, I'm impressed. Okay. All right, from way back in the corner.
When you drew the square and the breathing exercise,
Yes.
you just briefly mentioned the four corners
Yes.
of the universe.
Yes.
Was there anything relevant in there that you may have glossed over? Is there anything meaningful there that we should take away?
What happens is the four corners represent the endless beginnings. The reason I have to put something on the board is because people can see it. But when you do the breathing, it's endless beginnings. No end, nothing without end. But I have to draw something, otherwise the intellect will go, huh?
Well, my intellect is asking what.
Yeah, that's what I mean, see? Thank you very much. Yes.
As we go through our days, we've learned this from you today. And I don't know if this is a fair statement, but most people that we're going to encounter will not know about this. And I understand that it's all about me, right? And so my goal is to clean me and the people that I'm interacting with. And there's a benefit for them too from what I've learned today. Is there a benefit for me to teach this to other people that I encounter? No.
No. Why would you want to teach it if you're the problem?
So only if I'm inspired to do that. Only if I'm inspired.
Oh yeah, and you have to be really careful, because if you teach something to somebody that's not ready for it, it'll come back and slam you in a way you would not want.
Okay.
Like, for example, houses burning down. I mean, I'm not trying to be threatening, but it's incredible what will come back and slam you. Whatever you put out will come back and get you. If it's good stuff, it'll double back to you. If it's, oh yeah. We want you to get away from this notion you're here to save people. This is why when I do a foundation class, which is different from doing this. This is a different way of coming at it. But when we do the foundation training, we have people sign an agreement that says they won't teach this. And the reason why I have to tell them that is because it's only about you. And people don't get that. We keep thinking we're here to save somebody else's butt. We can't. We can't even save ours. Like Hamlet says in Shakespeare, how can you know somebody else when you don't even know yourself? But now, if you're doing whatever you're doing and you're inspired to do it, I mean, I would do it. But you ought to do things out of being inspired as opposed to people needing it, which is where we come from. This is why when I worked at Hawaii State Hospital, I never taught anybody unless they asked. So one day I came into the building and they had a ruckus. This is when I first started. So as I was coming, I could hear this yelling and screaming, and I then began the cleaning. I'd already done the cleaning at home, but now this is new stuff coming, so I'm cleaning. As I entered the ward, it got quieter and more quiet and more quieter. And what happened was somebody picked up a chair and hit one of the staff. And then I could hear in my mind, really, I could hear another staff said, "Oh, he deserved it." Yeah. You know, so in the end, what I really had to work on was not on so much on patients, but staff. Staff. We could get them to calm down, be themselves, the patients would just heal on their own. So a friend of mine, I was talking to her on the telephone because I wanted to check out something with her. A friend of mine was saying she was watching this program, and I don't know it, something about a dog whisperer or something like that, an animal was. She said, "You know what I heard this guy said? He said, if an animal is having problem, I say to the owner, what's going on with you?" wow, he got it. Yes. What's going on in you that this dog should be sick? So when this people from Africa came up and they were concerned about their son, I was asking myself that question. What's going on in me that this is occurring? Not what's their problem. Everybody's perfect. It's just the data that's imperfect. Anybody else before we bring Joe the telly up? One. Any? Oh. Yeah.
Well, I do. You talked about the, if I got this right, that when somebody dies, if they still have an alive memory in them, that memory or that spirit is stuck wherever the passage was, like in an emergency room. My imagination was every single person who dies has that. Is that correct?
Yeah. So if you're looking at if the person, so let this be the person. And let this be the person in which she and I were discussing where the mama was taking the stuff to the grave. Oh, yeah. So now, this person, if there is a memory there when this person passes, this will go, but that person will get left behind. But now, let's say you are willing to stay with that and you're cleaning. As soon as that memory leaves, when that person goes, all of it goes. But otherwise, that memory will anchor the person can't go.
But the image I have is that there must be an overwhelming amount of memories from that experience alone that are out there.
Oh, mountainous.
Thank you for bringing it up.
No, what happens though, Joe, so you have this mountainous memory, but if you do your clean, that memory, that's just one sunlight will come through and that person can go home. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for an opening in which that person can go, but you got to get rid of that memory. As soon as that memory goes, it opens, up that person goes. So this is what I work on a lot as part of why I'm here, is that people will call me Mama's sick, Papa's sick, somebody's sick, and so I do the cleaning and I watch with them just constantly, and then see. In fact, just today, a good friend of mine's son-in-law, the father's son-in-law just passed. So that's why I was out there and on the porch cleaning with that. Yes?
Just a little something to share, because it is the memory that's coming up in me that a lot of you don't believe that you could do this. And my father died last week, and it was a wonderful event. And it was so wonderful, and my mom looked like 10 years younger instantly. And she was smiling and happy, and she came running over to see us. It was so great. And it's just because we were cleaning, and so that he could just go. And that's just little me, right? And I just want to say one more thing. In that whole vein of this keeps coming up, that you just don't believe you could do it. And you just have to watch back here. This is so beautiful back here. This guy, I don't know who he is, but he's huge. You have to see this little teeny baby that's no bigger than this bag of chips controlling his entire life. And that's you, right? That's what you can do. You're just that little baby that can just do it all. That's all.
Can you share with them, since you're courageous enough, can you folks share with them what that experience you had with the clients you had that usually went off where that plane went down? Would you be willing to do that? Can you stand up so they can see you and we can do our cleaning? Yeah. This is cool. This is Coolivai.
I'm Coolivai.
Yeah.
We own a business in Boston on Gray Street, and we told this story at Joe Vitale's thing last year, and we deal with a type of clientele that's incredibly wealthy, and a lot of them, for some reason or another, would have been either in the building or in the buildings or on the planes at 9/11. Like, for example, we have a client that took that Tuesday flight every single Tuesday, had a zillion frequent flyer miles, it was just what he did, and that morning his secretary booked a rental. And we had clients that were supposed to be in that building, but the card service didn't pick them up, or whatever it was. And however it turned out is that anybody that was connected with our business wasn't there.
And how many of those would you say?
I think it was 17 or 19.
17 or 19 people would have got and crashed or been down in the building. So thank you, Kulavai. So Om, can you tell us what you folks particularly did that she's talking about? Can you stand up so we can see you, please? This is Om.
Hi, guys. Prior to that, I ordered a bunch of, will you be speaking about this? Bunch of Seaport cards there, I'll probably discuss that tomorrow. I had a bunch of them, they came in the mail. I took the cards and I said, okay, this is great, they came today, put them down on my desk and went home for the day. The next day I came in, unlocked my office door, came in, I went, where are the cards, and I have no idea where the cards went. As all the things transpired, 9/11 happened, everybody's running into our business.
Everybody came to work.
Everyone came into the business.
Into the city.
Just to sit there and sit in the studio. So everyone's running around and, obviously everyone has that shared memory. So about a day or two later, I went to look for the cards. I thought they were anywhere and they were gone. It was the exact number of cards that I ordered. It was the exact number of people that did not die. Never saw the cards again. We can put all magical things to say that, I have no idea where they went. Never found them, but the clients never knew. Our clients do not know we do this stuff. They have no idea about it. They have no idea we're in Austin. They have no idea what we're doing. We just do this. So it's not like we put this power of suggestion on anybody. So we have these magical cards. We're not protected. They do nothing about it. So when they came in and they tell us the stories, and we do this, or we try our best not to go. Right. And they would just sit there, and they all go on their way, and they all go home, and I go to this. That was a pretty good one. But that's exactly what happened.
Tell us a little bit, give us kind of a short of each one of them. Like, what do they do? Investment, bank, what are they?
Oh, some of them own the credit cards in your pocket. Everything, you name it.
They own all the malls that you go into.
Yeah, they own the malls, they own the credit cards, they own, yes. Do they own? Yes, they own it. Financial services, everything from.
Now, I want to make a point to you. This is so important. Even with all your money, this could not have been prevented. You would have gone down in an airplane, you would have been died without them doing their cleaning. That's the power of this cleaning. In other words, your money won't do, excuse my language, doo-doo for you. It won't prevent you from having a can, but the cleaning, if you're willing somebody, so they're fortunate to be doing business with these folks because these folks clean. And you're talking about billions, hundreds and billions of dollars worth of people who would have gone, who didn't do that.
And the clients that don't do that, that aren't there, because we have this huge range. The beautiful thing too is that they find what they're supposed to do. And when you run into you go into the sandwich store and the guy who loves making the sandwich gives you the best sandwich ever, that's so great. Like what they're adding, what they add to your life when they have made the best sandwich, they give you the best sandwich. That's what happens. Like we have people, they were in financial services and now they're running wineries and I used to freak me out because they'd be like, okay, I'm doing this cleaning and then they disappear to go do something else and then I'm losing a client, right? Now, okay, they leave and like 6 more people walk in the door. Or they leave and then, or I'm all in a tizzy because I want my certain staff member to be a certain way and if I just shut up and do this, then that staff member leaves and then 2 incredible ones walk in the door. And then you know what? I don't have to work. All I'm supposed to do is clean. And then they do whatever they're supposed to do. They be whoever they're supposed to be. they hear from this big mouth of mine whatever they're supposed to hear. If I could, drink the water, or breathe, or eat corn chips, which I love.
So like, I think my friend Mabel back there wrote a book. It's called, Mabel, what's the name of the book?
The easiest way?
Yeah, it can be the easiest way when you're zero. Incredible things. And I had a woman in, I should say a man. I had a man in Calabasas who said to me, in the middle of the class, we must have had 80-something people, he said, it must be boring to be at zero. Well, see, obviously she has never been at zero. Because once you go in zero, you have this incredible occurrences. And that's what you can do. And when you clean, that's what it will do for the carpet, the table, the glasses, the people who serve you. They have more zest to them. When you're caring for yourself, the people who serve you, like the sandwich person, will be more caring because you are. It all begins with you. Peace begins with me, nowhere else. And you can't figure it out. You can't say, well, but if I did this, no. It's all bullshit stuff. You're either in or you're out. And so all these processes that we're teaching you, like this and the water, is to put you in, to let it all happen. And you can be along for the ride instead of being left behind in poverty. And the money won't do it. You won't be happy to have more money. I have a client who's probably the third or fourth richest person. I mean, he owns all kinds of stuff. And so, but he's a neat guy because he doesn't ask how come or why. He says, okay, here's what I'm going. I'm going on this trip. I got this business. He owns part of the, and he says, okay, can we just ask? And we sit down, we ask. And I tell you, he pays us $6,000 a month, and we only see him maybe over the telephone, half an hour every Tuesday. Because he's getting his value worth. He's finding out how it really works to be at zero. And incredible what he's done now. He's done things in Hawaii that Hawaiians have never done before. In fact, they mock him. You know how when you begin to move with brand new ideas, you're going to have a reaction. That's what I'm saying to my friend Vitaly over there. This thing is going to come up, you're going to have a tsunami. But you can now work on it. So the fact that you all are coming to do the cleaning for yourself, it will help this project with Joe. We want you to be doubtful. We get to clean with that. We want you to ask a lot of questions. We get to clean with that. Because all we want to do is be at zero and get the benefit of the inspiration. So, any questions before we end? Joseph? Anybody? Joseph, can you tell us when is the meal?
Meal is at 6 p.m., if I'm correct, and it's where we had the dinner last night at the other building. Let me make a couple announcements.
Sure.
You're giving me the floor here. So the dinner is at 6 p.m. over there. Also, somebody has a Lincoln, a white Lincoln car, town car, parked real close to the sidewalk. They can't wheel in their dollies over here to refill the drink. So if whoever's parking there, just back off a little bit. Also, if you're needing to go to the airport tomorrow, if you've called a shuttle, the super shuttle or something like that, let the rest of us know so we don't have to call a bunch of them. Maybe everybody can go on the same shuttle. And we start tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Any questions? Somebody had a hand up? Going once. Oh, yes.
I did.
Yes.
I just wanted to ask about when you say I love you, I've noticed sometimes I'll feel like I'm in a place where I love you, and the rest doesn't necessarily want to come, and it feels clear, and then sometimes it comes, and so I was just curious, is it something you have to say in a sequence? No.
You know, the power of love is enormous. Particularly, what would be helpful to you as you're talking to me would be helpful to everybody if they would pay much more attention to Mother Earth, because they live on Mother Earth. If Mother Earth goes haywire, which is what happens, is that we drill into her, we mine her. Nobody says thank you. So for me, one of the things I pay attention to is I talk to Mother Earth. I love you. If I've offended you in any way, I'm really sorry. Particularly at airports. I mean, I talk to the runway because, boy, I tell you, crazy things happen on runways. So I'm always talking to the land, which is what the Indians have. If you were to look at the Indian culture, not the Hawaiians, but Indian culture, the land was so sacred. And we don't treat the earth like this. We drive over it, we do, but I don't know how many of you, for example, I love driving in Los Angeles. I mean, 101 is crazy. 405 is crazy, but before I get on it, I talk to the highways and I say, I love you. And if you feel unloved, uncared by anyone, I'm sorry. So I do my talking before I get on, because I very seldom drive. I think I have a car that's almost 7 years old. It's got only 30,000 miles on it or something. And so I'm always talking to those parts of us in which people have been really nasty. We are nasty to highways in Los Angeles. It's too crowded, and all the poor highway feels unloved and uncared for. But if you're willing to take the time to do that, I just zip along. I don't know, it's like something magical happened. It could be crowded, zip along, and I'm in the car itself will find where to go. I don't do it. I just in the car, put my hand on the wheel, and the car will do it. As opposed to me trying to figure out where to go, the car will do it on its own. Because the car has an identity of its own. So I always talk to my car before I go. I said, okay, you're the driver. I just happen to be on the wheel so we don't look goofy. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if I had my hands in my pocket and then, so off we go. And so the car knows what it wants to do. It has a knowingness. And it's as long as the highways feel loved and concerned and cared for by us, it just opens. I have never had any problems with the highway. Yeah. And so if you have a block, you say, I love you, I love you, as opposed to, ooh, I'm going to be late, oh my God. It's letting go. Because it's not the highway, right? It's you. You show up with your stuff, huh? Okay. Before we go, I would like to, if you don't mind, just close your eyes. And we're just going to kind of like be silent for just a few seconds and just let it all come together. Just come together very slowly, whatever we're carrying. So when we leave, it will kind of just slip away into nothingness. And if you got anything in your mind that you're concerned about, worry, you just put it up. Just put it up. So we'll just take a few seconds and let it kind of say to it as we love whatever it is, so it will go willingly and just let it slip into nothingness. So let's take about a minute to do this. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Thank you very much.